it's Lee from coloringqueen.net, and today I thought I'd show you all my pencils, markers and craft supplies. Now some of the craft supplies I have packed up and put into storage along with most of my colouring books, as most people know that I'm moving, but I thought before I pack up all the pencils and whatnot, I'll show you what I've got here in my collection. Now I know for some people you're going to think, oh my god, why has she got so much stuff and some of it's not opened or used. And first of all, I've got to say two things. First of all, I'm addicted. I will buy probably anything that I can afford at the time. And second of all, I know that when we move I'm not going to have a job, and so I've been buying things while I'm getting income because I know I'm not going to be able to afford them later on when we move. And so I've just been building up a little stockpile like a little squirrel. So let me show you what I've put into my little squirrel's nest. So here are some of the latest things I've purchased. I've wanted to use watercolors, and I had a Canadian gift card, and with the gift card and the cost of shipping to Australia, I'm always looking for something pretty light and cheap, so I used my gift card to buy these Kuretake little set of watercolors, and I can't wait to use these. I've got a book on how to use watercolors, and hopefully, you know, one day I'll be able to figure it out. So that's my lovely little set, and they came from Japan, even though I use my Amazon Canada gift card for them. So I've just got these little Yoobi washable markers. They're just like a couple of dollars at Officeworks in Australia. They're okay. I wouldn't, you know, go out of my way to buy them again. They've got a really thick tip on them, which I don't really like, but they might be good for big areas of things. And I've got my tritone Koh-i-noors, which these are the woodless ones, and I use these a lot. It doesn't look like I've made a dent in them at all. And the whole thing is actual pigment, and they're tritones, so they've got like 3 colours in them, and you can turn them around and try and get different colours out of them. They are really great for doing things like timber and trees, but look, I like all of them, but they've got like a plastic-y cover type thing on them, and I've got to say that even though you get less pigment with the tritones with the wooden barrel, I actually prefer those to these woodless ones. These always feel like they're going to break to me, and I don't know, I just prefer the wooden cased ones, but I do love them, the tritones by Koh-i-noor. They're the magic pencils. And then I got my Black Widow pencils, and I've used these and they're actually really good. So even though I've used them, they don't look like I've worn them down at all, but they're very good, and I'm glad that I bought them because they're a good range of colours. Initially when they came out they didn't have names on them, but I think they ran a competition to think of names and got the names that way. I'm not sure. They're actually produced by a medical company, which is kind of odd, but yeah, they're really nice. And there's 3 sets now, so all up you can get 72 pencils. I don't like the tin cover because I'm a bit scared, to be honest, but so there's Black Widows, these ones are the Scorpions. Then there's, this one was the first set around, and you can tell which set it's from by the labelling on the pencil barrel. Yes, I'm not with it today. But beautiful colours and lovely barrel on them. They really are nice pencils. And these are the latest ones, which are the Cobras. So some lovely colours there, and they say on the barrel whether it's Cobra or not. Beautiful colours. So there's the whole set of the Black Widow pencils. Now here are my Koh-i-noor tritones, and these are the ones with the wooden barrel. They're the same as the woodless ones that I showed you just a minute ago, but these have less pigment in them because they've got the wooden casing around them, and you can see the 3 colours that are included here on the barrel. Now I actually prefer to have these in my hand rather than the woodless one. I prefer the feel of it, if that makes sense. I don't like that sort of plasticky feel in my hand from the other one. But I do still like the other ones. I just like these ones better, even though they've got less pigment in them. Now, these are the 36 Ergosoft from Steadtler. Now, I know a lot of people don't like these pencils. I actually really like them. I like them so much that Joanna Basford gave me the set of 24 with Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. And I liked them so much that I wanted the complete set, so I bought the set of 36 myself. And the reason that I like them so much is because if you have a hand injury like I have, a wrist injury, they are really nice and easy to hold. They're Ergosoft, meaning they're ergonomically tested for your hand, and I find them really lovely and soft to use with my hand. The pigment and the smoothness and the blending is not as good as my Prismacolors by any means, or any of my other pencils, but to use and to feel comfortable in my hand, I really like them. And as I said, I like them so much that she gave me that set of 24, but I went out and bought these myself because I wanted more colours, because when my hand really hurts, these are what I grab. This is the very first set of pencils that I purchased when I first started getting into colouring, and it's the Lyra 36 pencils. And I have to tell you, when I asked in colouring groups what sort of pencils to buy, a lot of people recommended these Lyra Rembrandts, and they come in a set of 72, and at the time I had a set of pencils from the supermarket, a set of like 12, and you know, the price of these just stunned me, so I was like, oh, couldn't possibly buy 72. I've never spent so much money on, you know, some coloured pencils. So I only went for the set of 36, and, you know, they are lovely, but I still remember the toing and froing I had over buying these pencils, and, you know, I was so stressed about spending so much money. Now you can see the tin's empty, and I think you all know why, that I bought the set of 36 and then I bought the rest open stock. And so I ended up with the full set of 70 odd pencils. I think they'd released a few sets of grey that I've also got, so there's about 75, and they're in a roll somewhere, which we'll come across soon. But, you know, when I first started spending this amount of money on a set of pencils, it was just unbelievable for me. I stressed about it, you know. I was worried about telling my other half. I thought he would hit the roof, and I tried to find the cheapest deal possible because it was just so much, like, for coloured pencils for a girl that used some from the supermarket. So, and by the way, none of these pencils, they're all fabulous, they're all beautiful, but none of them have made me a better colourist by any means whatsoever at all. But I do love having them, and, you know, as I said, I'm stockpiling for the time where I know that I won't be able to afford them. So there's the Lyras. So here we go, here's some more budget style ones. I've got the Connector Twist Crayons from Faber Castell. And, you know, I'm a cheap date. I like cheap pencils, you know, I really do. I don't know, I just find that it's sort of stress-free. I don't need to worry so much, and that I'm wasting my good pencil, you know, while I'm still learning. And actually, you know, I'm a pretty cheap date. I do like having nice things as well, though, obviously. So these are the Progresso woodless coloured pencils from Koh-i-noor, and you've got to be careful with these woodless ones that they don't break. I bought these when I was on holidays in Queensland last year, and they're really lovely. They're woodless, and again, I've used them, but they don't look like they've been used. Because they're woodless, they don't seem to show up that you've actually used them. They've got that sort of plastic film on it, which I'm not too keen on, but, you know, what can you do? So that's the 24 set. I think they do come in a bigger set as well, but, you know, they are lovely to work with. I do like the Koh-i-noor products. And here's some cheapo pencils from the discount art shop in Australia. Now, they're $18.99 Australian dollars, which is not equivalent to $18.99 US. There's 36 in here. And look, they're not bad, but they just don't have as much pigment as the artist style pencils, you know, the Black Widows or anything like that. But they're not bad for cheap pencils. So here's my Caran DAche Pablo pencils. Now these were on special at the art shop in Australia, so I grabbed them while they were on special because, you know, $100 difference in price makes a big difference when you're on a budget. So I do like them. They're a little bit harder than other pencils that I've got, but that's good as well on different days. And I've only used them a little bit. They're so well made, the Caran DAche products. You know, they've got these lovely little tins with the pull-outs on them and so well put together. And lots of different greens and blues in there, so beautiful products. And, you know, one day, hopefully I'll be able to use them a lot more. Great thing about these too is that you can get open stock, so if you use a lot of a different coloured pencil, then you can replace it without buying the whole tin. And I like the tins that they come in. And I know a lot of people like to put their things in pencil rolls, and I've got some things in rolls as well, but I actually really like the tins. Now, of course, I can't get it closed after telling you how well made it is, so I've done something there. So here we've got some pencils from Spectrum Noir. They're the Colorista ones. Now, they did give me those pencils to review, and they're a lot harder than their colour blend ones, which is good because the colour blend product that they have is very soft, but they don't have the actual pencil names on them, which is kind of frustrating. But they are nice enough pencils, but for the price you could probably get something in a bigger range. Then these are my Steadtler Ergosoft watercolour pencils. Now I bought these by mistake. I actually thought I was buying the Ergosoft, and they were on sale somewhere when we were on holiday. So by the time I realised my mistake, we were too far away to take them back and get the other ones. But it is good having some of the watercolours ones as well, and I do use them. And you know, I actually like them. They don't have as much pigment as the other brands, and they're certainly not as soft, but as far as the hand goes, they are so much better on my wrist than a lot of other pencils. Now these are my Holbein Pastels. I bought these first. Most people know I do have the Holbein full set, but I bought these ones as the first ones, and I love these. They're so pretty. I've used them a lot, and they don't look like I've used them a lot, but I still use these rather than use my big set, rather than use the pastels from the big set. And I do like them. I really like the pastels, and I do like the Holbein pencils as well. So here's my Crayola washable markers, and I like these so much. I bought them twice. And my Steadtler Fineliners. Now, I do really like these, but I've got to say I think I like the Stabilo product better, but I've only got a few of those. I've only got about 4, but I do like the Stabilo, I think, better than the Steadtler, but these are beautiful, don't get me wrong. They come in different sizes as well, I believe. Now here are these Ergosoft that Joanna Basford originally gave me, which was absolutely lovely, and I like them so much that, you know, I went and bought the bigger set myself because for me, they are really comfortable in my hand, but you certainly don't get that sort of saturation of colour and as much pigment and the blendability as you would with some of the other pencils, but I do like them a lot. Now, these are some Faber Castell soft pastels that I bought for backgrounds. So you can see how they're used here. So they come with an outer protective box over them, and then inside we've got the soft pastels. Oops, and some have fallen out. You might remember the little counting tools, the little wooden blocks that you used to get to learn how to count. I used to have a set of those when I was a kid, showing my age here. And all the different numbers, etc., with different coloured wooden blocks. That's what this reminds me of when I look at them. So these are only half sticks, so only little size. You can get bigger sized ones as well, obviously, but I figure with the limited amount of backgrounds that I do that this would be plenty to start with, and to see if I actually like working with these, if I actually like the feel of it. And you know, at the moment I don't like that sensation, to be honest. It sort of makes me cringe and makes me feel like it's a nails on a blackboard. So I'm glad I only bought the little ones, and you can see that a lot of the colour does transfer over to the little pastels, so I have to wipe it off, or maybe get a razor and slice a little bit off. But little pastels. Now these are the Prismacolor Art Stix. So they're not pastels. Prismacolor also make pastels, but these are actually woodless Prismacolors. So they look like pastels, but they're actually woodless pencils. And so I bought these for backgrounds, so I might do a little bit around an image in the Prismacolor pencil, and then use these sticks to go over the area for a larger space. So this, I think, is the biggest set that these come in. You can see some of them look a bit wonky. They look like they come off a production line and they get chopped off, and some of them get a little bit bendy and whatnot, but it is sort of weird having a Prismacolor that's just a stick. So I'd be interested to use these a lot more. I've tried them out, but I haven't used them in great detail as yet. This is my Caran DAche Neocolors, and this is the largest set, 84. They used to make 128, but they discontinued that set. So when I found out that there used to be a larger range, I went out of my way to try and find all the missing colours from that set. Now I still am missing a few from the 128 set, because they're a little bit elusive, some of them, and I've actually stopped trying with some of them, but I did manage to find quite a few, which I'll find around here soon. Now these are actually water-soluble crayons, so the Neocolor 2s. So you can put down a little bit of crayon, a bit of plastic, and add some water, use it on your image, or even apply it direct. I really like these, and I've been using the discontinued ones because I've got like, I don't know, 30 in open stock that I bought of the discontinued crayons. Now some of them are duplicates and of the same colour. And they are so easy to use, they're so soft. And I've used them a lot because I've been trying to experiment with them and see, you know, what you can do with them and whatnot. And the thing I've noticed is they still look full. They look like I've never touched them, which is, you know, completely not true. I keep forgetting Caran DAche always have this lovely metal tray to hold their product in, which is beautiful. They really make things well. You know, they're more expensive, obviously, but they're very well made, and judging by the amount that I've used of these on the open stock ones that I've got, and it hasn't made a dent on the crayon at all, honestly. I'll have these until I die and can probably, you know, leave them to somebody in my will. They just seem to last forever. And when you consider that that's all pigment, that's all colour, so you really are getting a lot of product there for the price. So they're expensive, but definitely long lasting and well made. And there's my Prismacolor Verithins. Now the Verithin, Prismacolor is a very soft base pencil, and if you're doing little fine details like getting into itty bitty fiddly bits, then you'll often find that your tip on your Prismacolor will wear down. So the Verithins are for those little fiddly bits. Now you can open this package and it pops out like that, but in the Verithin range you actually have to sharpen the pencil yourself. Now some brands do this because some people prefer to sharpen with a blade and others like a sharpener, and it also prevents the tip from breaking during shipping. So they're only in a limited range of colours. I think the Verithin only have 36 or maybe 48 in the set, but they're all your main colours, so if you're doing fiddly bits in a picture, they're very helpful to get into those tight spaces because the tip is not going to wear down like it does on the Premieres. So here are those Stabilo markers I was telling you about, and these are really nice. I've only got this, so what, 7 of them, but you can buy them open stock at Officeworks in Australia, and they come in a range of different points, and I actually prefer them to the Steadtler ones. I think they're a lot nicer, and the coverage is beautiful, but you know, each to their own. Now these are the colour blend from Spectrum Noir, and as I was saying before, these are really soft, really soft. And I don't know if it's because I live in Sydney and, you know, it's hot weather and humid and all the rest of it, but I found when I was colouring with these that they were so incredibly soft, and they're great for when you've got a hand injury, although I find the barrel a little bit big for my hand, but very soft, very easy to sharpen, but sometimes the point can come out because, again, they're so soft. And I don't know whether it's because, you know, I live in a hot place, you know, a hot country, and I don't know if that makes them even softer. Today, you know, they actually feel a bit harder to me, so maybe the weather has a lot to do with it, but they're very soft and easy on your hands. Come in a different range of colours, which are all sort of tonally been placed in different tins. The only negative with that is if you run out of one of these colours, then you have to buy the whole replacement tin. So as far as I know, there's no open stock of the colour blend, but gorgeous colours, really well made pencils, lovely barrels on them, really well presented, and you can get these, and they're all meant to work tonally together so that if you buy this tin, all the colours should work together, which for someone that's as bad as colour theory as me, that is great news. But it's a pity that there's no open stock, because then you can't go and test them out in store and see if they're like too soft or too hard for you. You see how much I've used down that brown on that one. There's hardly anything left. I don't know what I was doing with that. And I have reviewed these before, so you can check out the review if you wanted to see them in action and see the swatches and what I coloured with them. So I am a bit of a cheap day. Now here's some cheap coloured pencils that my partner bought for me from Aldi supermarkets. They often get colouring supplies. You often see Millie Morotto's books there, and they're only a few dollars, which is great if you want to pick up a spare. Now, they're not great pencils, they're student quality, but they weren't expensive and they're good to, you know, just have a bit of a play with. I have used them, and I did have another set, but I gave them to my mother-in-law with, she likes Millie Murata colouring books, so I gave her those with one of them. So there's 36 pencils in those, and they were like $10 for the 36, 10 Australian dollars. And these are the watercolour ones. Now my mother-in-law used to be an artist, or she still is an artist, I guess, but she doesn't really, you know, do much anymore. But she does enjoy the colouring books that I've given her over the years. And she really likes using gel pens for some reason, which is funny when you see her artwork. It's not in gel pens or anything like that. It's, you know, ink drawings or watercolours or pencils. But, you know, she has a lot of fun with them, and, you know, she enjoys it as a hobby. So these are the watercolour ones from Aldi. And again, they were like $10 when they're first on sale, and then they reduce them if they don't sell them. So I don't think they were that much. They were like $5. But they're good quality. Like, the things that Aldi gets in always seem to be pretty good. These are my Colleen pencils, and I love my Colleen pencils. Out of all my pencils, I think my Colleens and my Prismacolors are the most used, and my Koh-i-noor tritones. But these are the neon set, and these are the full-length pencils. I know that you can buy these on Amazon, and they're like the two pencils, the dual tip, so one colour one end, one colour the other end. Personally, that wouldn't appeal to me at all, having to flip the pencil around all the time. Again, it's a wrist injury. Anything that involves little movements like that causes me pain, so I wouldn't like to do that. Also, I do have to say that sometimes they don't sharpen that well, and they, you know, sometimes they do crumble and break. But I love them. They're so soft and they're just lovely. And I have, you know, a couple of packets of them. Now, since I bought these, they've come out with a pastel collection. So instead of the neon colours in this one, they're pastel colours. So instead of those beautiful neons. So I do have my other set in a pencil roll somewhere. This is my spare set, because when I like something, I like to have a spare just in case I can't get it again. Now, I have reviewed these, but I never put the review on YouTube. I put it on my blog as a written review, so you can see that review there. You can see what they look like coloured in. And in the budget range of pencils, like not overly pricey, I really love these. They're my go-to faves. So here are my Derwent watercolours. I bought these by mistake. Or I bought these for my mother-in-law, I think, and she didn't want them. So I've inherited them, and I think we actually bought her a bigger set or something, and she still hadn't used them from when we bought them. So anyway, I ended up with these ones. I haven't used them yet, so we'll see if I like them or not. Now, these are my Inktense pencils. Now, I originally bought these just as a little set of 12 to see whether I liked them or not. And I absolutely love my Inktense pencils. They're so versatile. You can use them on fabric, you can use them in your colouring books, use them for backgrounds. They're just so beautiful. So I bought these as a set of 12, and I liked them so much that when they came on sale at Amazon, I bought the set of 72, but I've still been using my little set, and if you ever see me use them on videos or whatnot, I'm still just using out of my little set that I've had for like a year and a half now. And this is the grown up set, the big set. Aren't they beautiful? I got these on sale. I can't remember how much they were, but they were definitely worth it, and I bought them from Amazon US because it's actually cheaper than buying them in Australia, unfortunately. So I got 2 trays full. Now with the Inktense, you can buy them as a pencil. You can buy them as blocks where you can either grate them with a little grater that they sell and make your own washes, etc. Or they've just released as watercolor pans. So you can have them like as a little set of watercolor pans and take them with you wherever you want. And I love my Inktense pencils. I really love them. They're really well made. There's so much pigment in there and you get such a different colour and a vibrancy of colour from these rather than from other pencils. They're completely different because they're actual ink and it sets. Once it's dry, it sets. So the other day when I was washing some clothes and whatnot, I washed the cushion that I painted in Inktense pencil from Evelyn Illustrations, which I've done a video of that somewhere on YouTube. I'll link to it below. And I was worried that when I pulled it out of the wash, I hadn't realised I'd popped it in with everything else. And it turned out absolutely perfect. There was not a thing wrong with it. So the Inktense on fabric is just amazing. Now, these are just the Faber Castell Classics. I've got a couple of packets of the 24 set. But we were in the colouring group one day and we were talking about, I think it was Colours Make You Happy, the Japanese colouring book. I'm a huge fan of that book. I haven't actually coloured it in. And Sandra, who's at Colour It In on Instagram, so that's Colour It In with a double N at the end. I'll link to it below. She did some experiments, and she found that the good old student grade Faber Castell Classics were the pencils that performed the best in some Japanese colouring books, including Colours Make You Happy. And she tested them up against a number of brands. I can't remember all of them, but she got great results just from these. So because I only had the 24 sets, I immediately ordered the 60 set because, you know, more colours. And I've got so many Japanese colouring books and, you know, often different paper, different pencils, and some people can colour with anything and make it look fabulous, and some people sort of need a different tool for the job, and that's just the way it is. So these are my WH Smith pencils from England, and I'm missing one, so I'm going to have to go and find that. I did buy 2 packets because they don't ship to Australia, which is very rude of them. And although there's WH Smith outlets in Australia at several of the universities, they don't stock e-coloured pencils. So luckily for me, my lovely friends in the UK, Stephanie, thank you, I shipped them from WH Smith to their address and they were kind enough to post them on to me, which is really lovely and really appreciated. You know, you really feel like you're in the colonies sometimes when places don't ship to Australia. It's so bizarre. But anyway, that's it. And I actually really like these, you know, but I'm a cheap date. I keep saying that. I've got the expensive stuff, but I'm a cheap date and I really like these pencils. I've reviewed them before and again, I didn't put it on YouTube. It's just a written review on my blog, but I'll link to it below if you want to see what they look like, swatch it out. And I think I coloured with them, I can't remember now, and sharpened them all up, but I do really like them. And I understand since I've done this that there's a bigger range now, and that they also have some that are artist grade. But I think they're great, you know, quality, and, you know, they're budget pencils. They're not fancy pants pencils, but, you know, everyone's got different price points, and everyone likes different things, you know, so it's always good to have a little experiment. So these are my Ergosoft pencils and I love these. They're just so beautiful. I mean, they're Japanese and the quality on them, the packaging, I mean, the whole thing. I mean, what's not to love? And also they've got colours that you don't find in other sets. They are so beautiful, really lovely, and I've reviewed them before. You can see my review of them. I do adore my Ergosoft pencils, absolutely. They come in sets of 3, so Ergosoft, I believe, is Japanese for dictionary, and so you get the little booklets, the little 3 dictionaries in each packet, and there's 3 packets that make up the set. And what is great about them, and you can see my full review at the link below, is that they all work tonally together. So this little box of pastels, theoretically you should be able to use all of those in one picture and it'll look fabulous. And if you want more than 10 colours, if you use any of the colours from this one particular box in one picture, it'll all work tonally together. And, you know, same, so you can use all the colours out of this tray or use the whole box together. And so they all work tonally together. So it's great for people like me that can barely dress themselves colour coordinated in the morning. Now, these are my Guang Hui coloured pencils. So they say they're oil-based on the Amazon listing, and I don't know if I got a bad batch or not, but mine definitely dissolve in water. A YouTube viewer alerted me to that fact that hers did, and so I tested it out on mine, and mine dissolved in water. Now, I emailed the company about it, and they said that it wasn't their product, which I don't know. You know, it has the Guang Hui label, but, you know, often people, you know, do replica products and whatnot, so I don't really know the answer to that. But I really like these pencils. You'll see that several are missing from here. So obviously mine are wax-based because they dissolve in water, but they are meant to be oil-based. Either way, I still like them. I think they're great value for money for the amount of pencils that you get. I coloured with them. You can see my review of them up on the channel. And you'll see that I've taken several out here, and that's because they're in my cup container. I'm using them to colour a picture at the moment. And I see some beautiful artwork coloured with these. As a budget pencil, these are a really good price. I think mine were like $25 or something like that. So for 160 pencils, very large range, you know, for a starter pack. Now these are the watercolour pencils, 150, but as I said, my other ones dissolved in water, so I don't really need the watercolour ones. But again, if you wanted to get into watercolours, or you know someone that does, that's a huge range. Now the range is only huge because tonally there's not a lot of difference between the colour points, so you can see, you know, you're really only going up a couple of shades, but if you didn't want to lighten with white or dilute, then, you know, you've got that option there. So these are my Derwent Colorsoft, and I bought these because they were on special in Australia. Nothing like a special to make me rush out and buy something and hide it somewhere from my other half. Now they are really soft, and again, I don't know whether that's a reflection of where I live, but they are incredibly soft. And I was thinking of actually even putting them in the fridge because mine are so soft. Now obviously if I lived in a colder place, I'm sure that they wouldn't be so soft. Or maybe it was just the day when I used them, you know, because we've had a lot of heat here in Sydney lately, and so I'll try them out again when it's a cooler day and see if that makes any difference. But I noticed because they were so soft, for me, the point kept blunting. But I like soft because, again, I've got that hand injury, and so anything that's too hard is very painful for me to work with. A bit like Goldilocks, I don't want it too soft and I don't want it too hard, I want it just right. So here's some more budget pencils that I've got, the Crayola 100 set. And I really wanted these. You know, I keep saying it, but I'm a cheap date, honestly. I'm quite happy with cheap pencils. They're quite fine, and I've got another set, the 50 colours, and I use them. And I often use them first, and then I put my Prismacolors over them. But I'm very cheap date. Now, these are my Marco Refines. I bought these a while ago. This is just a box. I've got them in a roll somewhere. There's 72 in the set. I know a lot of people love Marco Refines, but for me, I don't really like them that much. I mean, they're okay, but they're just not for me. And these are my other Crayolas, the 50 set. I must have these in a roll somewhere. And I originally got like a small packet of Prismacolors. I don't know, I think it was 36 or something. And again, you know, when I bought them, I was sort of horrified at the price in Australia, you know. Not used to spending that much money on pencils. It's, you know, obviously before the addiction set in. This was early days. So then I thought I needed more colours, so I started buying open stock of the Prismacolors. And anyway, I finally worked out that it was getting too expensive to buy the open stock. So my other half bought me the 150 set for my birthday. And then last year, when I think it was Black Friday sales, he bought me a spare set as well. So I have to thank him for my Prismacolors. So this is just a budget art brand in Australia, Reno Art. And I bought these watercolors so I could do my experiments with the sparkle pens. You might have seen my video of that. I'll link to it below. So they're just little tubes of watercolours. And they're $5.99 Australian, so for 12. So that's pretty good value. And these are some cute little tritone pencils. They're the same. There's only 4 colours, unfortunately, that I got from Officeworks in Australia. And they're only a couple of dollars. They're giant, you know, so they're designed for kids, really, but as budget little tritone pens, you're at least pencils. You're at least getting a couple of different colours there, and you know they're only a couple of dollars, and they're good fun. So I think they were $2. So I bought 2 packets of them, and same brand Yoobi, and some neons in the same colour. Some more twisted crayons because I always think I don't have these, and every time I see them for a few dollars, I ended up buying them again. So very silly. These are the Jane Davenport pencils. She makes a lot of beautiful watercolour products, etc. But the pencils are quite nice too. It's only 24 in the set, but they're quite hard, so good to use with the Prismacolors if you don't have the very thins, but so they're nice enough for a basic set and they go on really smoothly, but there's not that many colours in the range. So these are the Shapira Faber pencils. There's 72 in there and they're really beautiful, and not only are they beautiful to look at and extremely well made, but they also are beautiful to colour with. So lovely little tin that they come in. Beautiful range of colours there. Beautiful barrel. They come pre-sharpened. So gorgeous colours, 72 there altogether. So the box has got a bit dented down here in the shipping process. You can sort of see it there, but you know, I don't worry so much about these things. I figure when I buy something from the US and, you know, it arrives a little bit banged up and whatnot, I think, well, what do you expect? You know, it's coming a long way, and, you know, sometimes these things happen. So this is my first set of Faber Castell Polychromos, the 36 set. I'm missing one pencil. It's really bugging me. I have to work out which pencil I've lost so I can complete the set, because I am a little bit OCD on things being just so, I have to admit. So I bought these when they were on special in Australia and in store, and I've used them a lot, but they haven't worn down very much at all. And then I tossed and turned about, whether to buy the larger set, and then luckily they went on special at one of those discount places. It was catch of the day in Australia, and so I got the 120 set for far less than what I would normally pay. But I'm still using, I really like these strings that they have, I'm still using my 36 set. Occasionally I'll dip in here and use one of the other ones, but for the most part I'm just actually still using the original set that I bought. And as well as the 120 set and the 36, I've also got 2 out of the 3 discontinued colours from Faber Castell, which is the light blue and the light violet. So both of these were discontinued. Faber Castell originally used to have the large set as 100 pencils, and then they got rid of 3 pencils, which was the light blue, the light violet and the soft black, and they replaced it by adding 23 additional pencils. So I still haven't found the soft black, but it's proving very elusive, but at least I have these other 2 discontinued ones. Of course, the problem with something that's discontinued is if you get permanently attached to it, you won't be able to get a replacement in open stock like you can for the ones that are currently available. So these are my Tombow recycled pencils. They're a slightly different pigment from the Ergosfot, according to Tombow, who I asked about them. They don't have the lovely white barrel of the Ergosfot, but they do have a white pencil, which is why I purchased them originally, because the Ergosfot set actually doesn't come with white. And you can see my review of these, I'll link to it below. And this is a picture from Broken Circles by Tabitha Barnett that I've been colouring, or started to colour with these recycled pencils. I'm definitely running out of space now on the desk. This is my spare set of Prismacolors that my other half bought me when they're on sale. And even buying in the US on sale, and even with the shipping to Australia, they were still hundreds of dollars cheaper than what I could have bought them here for. So I'm very grateful for that. And this is the original set that he bought me for my birthday a couple of years ago. And I do also have a smaller set and open stock that I've been using. And of course they're all higgledy-piggledy at the moment, but I do love my Prismacolors. Some I love more than others, so they are lovely and they're so soft. If you've got a hand injury or something like that, you'll find them very soft and easy to work with. But mine are all over the place at the moment. I haven't put them back in the correct order. So they're all higgledy-piggledy, but they're much loved. Now these, of course, are my most expensive coloured pencils, which are the Holbeins, and I saved up for these for ages, and I waited for them to come on special. I bought mine from Japan using a buyer's agent, and you can see my review, I'll link to it below. But, they are beautiful, but they are expensive as well. I'm still using my little 12 set of pastels. Now, you can buy a product by Holbein called Melts that you can use to add with the pencils to add that watercolor effect. But you can use other products as well, you don't have to use that one. So beautifully presented in these lovely little card trays, but compared to the Caran DAche, with their metal trays, and for the price of these, you think that could have sprung for something a little bit more sturdy. Now they're all in the order as per this is how they arrived. I haven't changed the order of them. They are lovely to colour with, but they are, you know, super expensive. And you might have noticed that you've got 2 whites and 2 blacks. And you can also buy the pastels, which is the most popular set, in a set of 50. And you can buy the other colours in sets of 50s, but most people love the pastels. And you can buy these in a set of 50 if you don't want the whole set. And if it's just the pastels that you're interested in, you know, that might be a more economical thing to do. I mean, they did take me a while to save up for, and I'm glad I got them, don't get me wrong, but they are really expensive. So there we have the Holbeins. Now these are my favourite Faber Castell watercolours, and again I bought these on special at one of those discount sites, Catch of the Day or something like that. So you can use these dry or with water. You know, beautiful pencils here. You can see the barrels are different shape from the oil ones that I showed you earlier, the polychromos, so that you know which one, obviously, that you're holding. The great thing about Faber Castell is that all their colours are the same, so whatever this colour is in the watercolour, there'll be a matching colour in the polychromos and in the markers. So you always can match up the colours no matter what sort of piece that you're working on. One's got stuck to the bottom of the foam thingy. And they've got a slight smell to them. So you need to, if you don't like chemical smells, which I don't, you need to sort of air them out a little bit if the smell bothers you. But gorgeous and lovely presentation as well, nice tin box. I think you can get those in a wooden box as well, but I'm too cheap to pay for that. And they're all pre-sharpened. So beautiful Castell products. And these are really well made pencils. So I do have some pencil rolls as well. So these are my 50 Crayolas from that 50 set that I showed you the packet of earlier. And sometimes I keep the packets because I might want to change their pencil case. I find in Australia that there's not many pencil cases on the market, so usually I end up buying these from Amazon or Wish or eBay or whatnot. And so here are the Lyras. I did end up getting the pencils to make up the complete set. I started with 36 as my first fancy pencils that I bought, and then I built it up to, I think there's 75 in there at the moment. And then these are my much loved set 1 of Colleen's, and you can see that they're much loved, you know, by the little... Remember, I don't colour as much as everyone else probably, because I just don't have the time between making videos and working and everything else. But I love these pencils. They're so soft and they're so easy to use. I'm really glad that I've got a spare packet as well, but I would like to get that pastel packet. You know, I really like them. And, you know, as I said, I'm a cheap date. I'm not a fancy pants person. So, you know, maybe if you like more expensive pencils, you might not like them, but I'm cheap. What can I say? These are my first packet of Prismacolors, so they're 36, and I still use them as well as my 150 set as well. And I still enjoy having them. So I've got the 36, 2 packets of 150, and some open stock. So I'm a real Prismacolor hog. And again, I was horrified at the price of these when I bought them. They were on sale when we were on holidays, and I really ummed and ahed. I bought them in Australia, and, you know, on reflection, they were a really good price, you know, for the Australian market. But when you're not used to spending that sort of money on pencils, it sort of, you know, can come as a bit of a surprise. But, you know, really, when you come down to it, for me, it's like, I don't know, maybe a week's worth of cappuccinos. So, some other little spare ones, the 24 Classics, the Lyra Giants, the skin tones, a set of 12 there. They're really big and bulky. They're designed for kids, you know. I really don't know how little kids like holding a barrel that big, but anyway. And they're the skin tone set. These ones came with a colouring book, the Diane the Cat colouring book. And I'm kind of still annoyed that they came with the colouring book because I don't want more pencils. You know, I don't find that a bonus with a colouring book at all. I find that you're just adding to my shipping costs, which I don't like. And yet another packet of Faber Castell student pencils. And these are the tricolour ones. So that's it for the first part. We still have to go through the cupboards and all those plastic containers full of markers, etc. So we'll see that in video number 2. Until next time, happy colouring.